Hello
And we're
everyone,
live.
and yeah, and welcome back to another live session between my partner Phil. And we, in every live session that we do, we try to cover topics that could spread more awareness, more information about different industry trends and different applications that are creating innovation and could be helpful in automating tasks and could help you get ahead of your competition. So today we will be going more into talking more about bubble.io. It's like a tool which can be used to build web applications and stuff. So me with my partner Phil, we would be having a chat about it to see what options does it have, how it can add value. We would be also discussing about its limitations and how easy. We would be also doing like a quick demo about how to use it and what kind of stuff is it capable of. So it's going to be a fun session, and I'm excited to have you, Phil, with me.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Excited for this call. The way I see Bubble is it's a pretty powerful tool, and compared to N8N, Zapier, in its class, it's well established. A lot of people use it, so the interface is good for beginners to go pretty far with it. And if you sit down with it, you can pretty well master it in say 8 to 12 months. uh, as far as a non-technical guy is to be able to go in there and to get it to do pretty good, so you can grow with it as you go. Now at a certain point, there's a big debate of, is it really for the big players or not? But there are companies that have gotten started and gotten $1.1 million valuations based off of their bubble product. So it is pretty
Mhm.
legit. Know what it's good for, where its weaknesses are, and we're going to jump into a lot of that on this call. So I think it's going to be fun. This is a good call for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and the first thing that comes into like in my mind when I think about bubble.io is that what it really is and what does it do and why I should be using it.
Yeah, or why not to use
Yeah, why not? And when to stop using it. That's like a
it?
good.
Right. That's always hairy, right? That transition stage is it can be painful sometimes, but if you go into it with the mindset of knowing how far it's going to get you to be able to maximize that value and to set yourself up for the next stage of your business, it's huge. So I wouldn't say to be scared to start with something like with Bubble.io, to get your feet wet, to test the idea, to get some income going, and to maybe try to get some funding before you go into paying a lot of money to have a custom system built for you, because you can go pretty far with it.
Yeah, and when we talk about why should we use it, I think it depends upon what we are trying to do, and it also depends who I am. If I'm like an entrepreneur trying to build an MVP, or am I like a developer or a designer to add something to my skill set. So it depends upon really who I am and what I'm trying to do. For MVPs, for entrepreneurs, what it does is what it could do is quick go to market. So I think once we go down into it and try to build something with it, you will still need a developer using bubble.io as well, because for non-tech people it you cannot build like a complete product. There are you need to consider some things like some API integrations, and it also lists the errors as well while it builds stuff. So you need
Mhm.
to be like a bit technical. It says that it's no code, but you need some technical knowledge to resolve those errors once you get them.
It'll speed it up a lot. So when you're looking at starting with it, dig in yourself, have some fun,
Hmm.
get some just general understanding, watch a few YouTube videos on how to build
Hmm.
some of it, and to learn what to
Hmm.
watch out for. And over time, yeah, you can work it out yourself, but with a good developer, you'll take what may take you 3 or 4 months to do on your own
Mm-hmm.
to do within a few weeks, right? 2 or 3
Mm-hmm.
weeks. The Everybody has their different comfort level with where to go, but again, it's not really made to be a design system. But if you have a good idea of what you're looking at, you can play with it, you can massage it, and you can get that general idea out there to test it and get feedback before you ever really have to invest a lot of money, or
Mm-hmm.
to just get that feeling that is this solution on target or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's important that how the product is actually marketed and what it is actually capable of. If you understand that well, you can get most value out of it. So you know where
Hmm.
you actually need help and what you can actually do by yourself. So in case of bubble.io as well, I think it can help you uh, get started in a way that if we build like a custom CRM, it is going to take a lot of time and a lot of developers working together on like front end, back end, and
Hmm.
then deployments, and then
Yep.
like a lot of stuff. But if you want to build an MVP, let's say you want to build a CRM, which is in the MVP version, you can just have like a developer who has some knowledge about like coding and stuff, and he could actually build you a very good product in about, I think, in 6 to 8 weeks, and it includes the time you are going to spend with him related to discovery, research,
Hmm.
and then doing some design, how it's going to look, and then you actually build it, and then you can test it, and
Uh-huh.
it gives you like a very strong base of that MVP, which you can then roll out in the market, get some users and stuff, and you can actually validate your idea, and then you can decide. You can. It's easier when you. If I think of something, if I have to spend less, and also I can have that idea in like I can take it quickly into the market, test it out, then it gives me more freedom. So I think that is something which makes it very much powerful. Because whenever I believe I have like a startup idea, nobody can be sure that it's going to be successful, and it's actually what the market needs. When you build something, the market could be needing something different. So these tools, because they have like a lot of functionalities like drag and drop builders, like you can just very easily switch between stuff too. That also makes it very much powerful. So you can validate your idea and you can be very much flexible.
Yeah. So there's kind of like that. There's a technical requirement gap at a certain point. So when you start looking at CRUD operations, which is create, read, update, and delete. When you start looking at this, you're starting to look at content. You start looking at maybe a CRM or like a blog, stuff like that. And this is where it starts getting a little bit more difficult technically on Bubble. And maybe
Mhm.
even you should be wondering if you're using the right system in the first place. You can get through that with Bubble, and it's cool, but it's a bit more technical. So, um, if you're looking at like selling something, setting up something with Stripe, right? A lot of our customers would use Bubble to put on a Stripe shop to be able to go there and edit the screens themselves, right? That's different to create that outlook, the views, changing your copy, having a few static pages or screens. Now Bubble is moving into working with apps, which is great. I'm excited that they made that jump, and you can you kind of have those like two levels of difficulty, and you can jump over it. But probably if this when you hit those uh, that kind of requirement in your system, then you might say, okay, now I should keep my eye open to see how hard it is for me. So if you find it's hard to get the system start creating these workflows for creating, for deleting, for updating content, then that's a good sign to hurry up and get a developer in there, before you kind of make some mistakes with your audience.
Yeah, and I think this was very much relevant to actually someone who wants to build an application who has like a startup idea in mind. When it comes to agencies, like dev shops, how do you think that it can be very much useful or valuable for them?
Hmm. So it's a good question. The One of the things I'm looking at if when an entrepreneur is coming to me is what's their total budget.
Mm-hmm.
And if we need to get something out there that's going to let them test their marketplace and to see uh, what they can achieve in the marketplace very rapidly because they have a limited nest egg that they're playing with, then I may recommend something like Bubble. That's if I'm consulting. Now, if I'm doing the development myself, nowadays with some other tools, I can kind of go as fast or faster with some more advanced systems. But if you're having me as a consultant, I want to make sure that you have some marketing budget in there. So whatever development option you're using, you want
Mm-hmm.
to keep at least 20-30% of your marketing of your total budget for marketing to play with the idea to make sure it's cool. You may even better is to create something with Bubble to get it out there, to get some pre-sales going, get that waiting list going, and seeing if you can get people to buy in at like a big discount for a year or something like that, with a chance to
Mm-hmm.
refund the money if it's not delivered at a certain point, just to kind of gauge that interest. And having that light experience with the Bubble app is going to help you gauge that kind of quickly. And I think
Mm-hmm.
this is one of those things where talking to my clients, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
does this make sense? Okay, how perfect does this have to be for you before you're ready to even do that? Because if your comfort zone is not that you can deal with something that's not exactly what you have in mind, I don't think Bubble's for you. So you got to feel where your comfort zone is and how perfect something has to be before you even put it out in the marketplace. A lot of entrepreneurs, once they become serial entrepreneurs, they kind of lose this serious attachment with everything being 100% perfect to test out an idea. You realize that, hey, testing the concept isn't going to hurt your reputation unless you just kind of like throw your face on it. Then it might, but you generally shouldn't do that if you're doing the just getting the idea out there. uh, think of things in little stages, right? Like Netflix. When these guys were starting up Netflix, they didn't just jump right in to build a platform. They went out to the post office, they put a CD in the mail, and they came back in the next day just to see if you could get delivery working in the first place. So they
Mm-hmm.
started testing the little steps before they really got into anything huge, and they went through a lot of iterations before they really learned about having subscriptions as being their pricing model. And this is such a big deal because with so many of my clients, we may like one of my event platforms, they started off thinking it's going to do memberships and to go into having subscriptions and commissions on sales and act as a light business system. Once they started getting out there, they realized that the subscriptions that the companies were paying really didn't make a difference in bringing people in and bringing value to them, but it created a barrier for some people to get started. So they changed their pricing model around, and they found that the customers were a lot happier. Now, this is not something they could discover right away. They had to step into it, just like
Mm-hmm.
every business generally has to step into the perfect formula for them.
Yeah, and I think once you uh, one thing that comes to mind is because of these AI solutions, uh, people could be losing jobs or agencies could be losing out revenue. What I have experienced and what I think, and you can actually add more to it, is
Mm-hmm.
basically, we used to have like a lot of queries from potential clients which do not have like the right budget to build that big of an application. They were not ready to spend that much for just testing out an idea. So
Hmm.
for people like them, it has become more affordable, more achievable, that
Hmm.
you can utilize these tools to validate your idea. And then you can also, if you it can you can use these solutions to not have like massive amount of traffic, but reasonable amount of traffic on your applications, and they can still perform good. So it gives them those people also the opportunity to
Hmm.
not only validate their idea, but also try something out. And it gives them the opportunity to actually create some value, so which they always believe they can, but they have budget constraints, or they could be not that much ready to invest in an idea. And it could be also people who have tested a lot of applications, tested a lot of startups, but haven't been successful. So they can also use these they can use bubble to build something quickly, and the loss is can the loss can be minimized.
Yeah, yeah. The loss can be minimized, and you can still go pretty far with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's I guess the big question when I'm looking at this is, first of all, are there any other companies in the world that are kind of getting large doing it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I already mentioned a couple. Did I mention Ticket Rev? No, I didn't mention some of these guys yet. So there's a few big companies, right? And you can find them on LinkedIn. There's Ticket
Mm-hmm.
Rev. They raised 1.1 million in pre-seed funds.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Hair app. Uh, let's see, what's another one? Comet, right? This is a
Mm-hmm.
huge one. Cure, right? I think they raised over 10 million
Mm-hmm.
euros, and they started producing over 100,000 monthly revenue, recurring revenue. So there's a lot you can do to really set yourself up for success with something like this. Just understand that there's you don't kind of have as much control over it as you may like, and if you can let some of that control go to test out your idea to get you going, it's a good footstep. Now there's a few things you should watch out for, but
Mm-hmm.
with that mental process in mind, you can really go pretty far. uh,
Mm-hmm.
there's ways to optimize it. You could build it terribly unoptimized, but you can
Mm-hmm.
also make some decent workflows with it where it it can be made simple or or complex and still have some flexibility in it to make your system sustain itself.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and yes, you are actually very much right that there are like a lot of examples. So when we uh, think of an idea, obviously we would be needing the right amount of funding to help it scale and make it successful. So for investors as well, if you want to showcase something, uh, which is something which is reasonable, is usable, and you can show them
Mhm.
that how it works and what kind of value it creates. It takes you to like another level than just showing them prototypes or like just giving them business plans. So it's better
Yeah.
to have something working in your hand, like a working prototype, MVP, and that increases your chances of getting
Mhm.
that funding.
Yeah. So since we're talking about funding, let's kind of talk about just real quickly some of the steps you can take to increase the ability to get funding.
Mm-hmm.
And what looks good to any investor, first of all, is, do you have a concept that you've tested, right? Is there some
Mm-hmm.
kind of wall there, some kind of proprietary system or process or gate that's going to make it so other people can't just come in and rep you off so that you can get to scale at a reasonable time? Is there How hard is it for you to get customers? Do you have a waiting list? Do you have pre-sales? Do you have real sales? Do you have a fan base? Have you built some kind of community that's excited about what you have going on? Do you have any kind of IP created that is going to bring extra value to the business, like a book, to maybe some content or some patents or trademarks, all those things that you can start to build up over time. That trademark is a great one to start with. It shows everybody you're pretty serious, that you own the rights to that, at least reasonably, gone through that process, and that you're showing you have the business processes in mind. The other next thing that's very easy to do is to make sure that you're using some bookkeeping systems to keep your accounting clear for
Mm-hmm.
investors, to show that you're serious. You know, it's like one of the biggest problems I have with some of my clients initially is that their fear of accounting, of trying to keep books and showing this information to investors, because uh, they're kind of like, they feel like kind of any information like this is going to make them not look amazing or perfect, or that they won't be able to do the bookkeeping good enough. Get that out of
Mm-hmm.
your head. Anything like FreshBooks, very simple bookkeeping system similar to QuickBooks, and it helps you keep track of things and to show things to potential investors, and it just gives that warm feeling to investors that you're a little more serious on your scale. Other things like creating that staff or that board, that people that have had history of success, or to be able to deliver, to be able to market, to, you know, to build that team of success around you, or to show those results as quick as possible, is super important. But also just getting that product prototype out there so that you can show your concept and have that story behind it. Have your 30-second story, have your 1 minute, your 3 minute story, have your 10 minutes kind of interview with startup and capital. Things like that are going to help you go through the whole process and give you a lot of confidence. And if you follow even those few little steps that I talked about, it's going to give you a lot more confidence in going out there, presenting your idea, and moving along that process of getting funded to get to that next big level. Because the sooner you can get funding, the more marketing you can do, the sooner you
Yeah.
can get like a custom app, right,
Mm-hmm.
to solve the solution if you have to. If you fit perfectly inside that bubble world, you can maybe stay in there forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can keep using it, and if it addresses the problem, solves it, and is also scalable enough, then you can keep using it.
Yeah, it comes out
Mm.
pretty smooth like
Yeah.
that. Where's it not good? Like, where's the constraints
Mm.
that you've seen for bubble applications?
Mm-hmm. What I have seen is basically uh, when it comes to scale, and this is something that I have researched and read about, is basically you would be needing a custom solution. When you are like scaling, you have like massive amount of like traffic coming in, so you would be considering something custom. And also something to consider is basically when you have like and this is something we talked about too, uh, having like dependence on like a third party application. Let's assume I have like 20,000, 50,000 users per day, and what if bubble goes down, and what if it starts to have issues? So how can I actually tackle that? How can I switch, or how can I have more
Mhm.
control over it? So that are the things that comes to my mind when I think of constraints.
Yeah, the and that's kind of a cool one. Like how much control you have over it. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
believe Bubble is made on top of AWS, so
Mm-hmm.
it does have a powerful system behind it, but it kind of separates you from that control of it. And if you have a custom app, then yeah, you can control that way more. You can plan ahead, you can allocate resources. If you have like a Super Bowl commercial coming up, for example, or
Mm-hmm.
some big trade show where you have a strong feeling you're really going to get, those big bursts of engagement that don't have like a normal build up to it, then Bubble might not be the right place for it. There might be some things you can do, but it's just really not for it, especially in cases where you want to kind of change where the system is housed right now. And I think this is a problem that they're aware of. But I don't think they really care much about it. Is that if a client wants to, and some of my clients do want to, put their information in Europe. They want to house it specifically in certain countries. They want to have control of what regions it's being deployed from. It basically just abstracts almost all that, even out of an enterprise plan, which gives you more flexibility. It still doesn't give you much control over where that systems are housed and how to manage and kind of manipulate that. So that's a concern for some companies. If it's not a concern for you, great. But those kind of limitations can be fairly significant depending on your industry. Also, I don't think Bubble will do a BE, a business contract for the security side. So like you could
Mhm.
with Azure, right? You can get these agreements set up where
Mhm.
you have this kind of confidential relationship, but I don't think you get that with Bubble. So
Mhm.
HIPAA stuff like that becomes complicated.
Yes, and that is very much true that a lot of governments also have these regulations that uh, the data related to their people should not be getting out of the country. So
Mhm.
let's assume you are in a business where you have sensitive information, or even could be like industries which have like a lot of applications and uses like healthcare. That data is really sensitive, and you cannot, you know, a lot of governments have those rules and regulations that that data should be hosted inside that specific country. So in terms of, so if you are using bubble in that scenario, that is
Mhm.
not going to make you compliant.
Yeah. Yep. Uh, on the next topic of ownership, it is a
Mm-hmm.
big problem, right? Now you're going to own your whole Bubble thing, but you can't export your project out of Bubble. You're
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah,
a very
you don't own
significant
the
vendor
code.
lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have
Yeah.
to redesign it from scratch, which is I think cool, right? Not just because I
Mm-hmm.
love programming, right? But when you keep in mind that, yeah, the next evolution is to build my own thing. I'm not going to be able to
Mm-hmm.
export this and just take it there. I'm going to take my learnings, what I learned from it,
Mm-hmm.
and to build a better system, maybe, or
Yeah,
even to do some
you
split
can build in
testing.
parallel. Yeah. If your application is really getting that traction and it is moving fast, and you are getting to where you want to be, and you have now the right amount of funding, you can build something in parallel and then
Hmm.
shift to like 2.0 version of your application, which where it has all of the stuff that bubble does, and also some features that you want to introduce by having launching like a version 2.0. And that could be like a good transition. And related to hosting data, I think one cool thing to explore would be to, if you can, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, this is like a scenario that I'm thinking about. So let's assume we are using bubble and we have some compliance related stuff. That data needs to be, let's assume, hosted in London. It needs to be hosted within uh, UK. It should be within in any country in Europe. So we can have like our, if we use like the dev team to build like a database and then connect our database to
Hmm.
Bubble. So
Yep.
actually we are just using APIs to fetch that data, and
Hmm.
the database is actually hosted over there.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Correct. So if the data is, this works in some countries, right? Like in China, this won't
Mm-hmm.
work, but in a lot of countries, if the data, the location of the data is the key
Mm-hmm.
issue, then yeah, you can have your database. You can build those SQL connectors
Mm-hmm.
and connect it. Now, I'm not a fan of this because of the security risks involved, right?
Yeah.
Direct SQL.
Mhm.
operations is a terrifying thing,
Mhm.
but it makes sense in the right case. So
Mhm.
ways to protect yourself, there's some workarounds, but now you're already looking at bringing in developers for some heavy kind of
Mhm.
lifting. You're going
Mhm.
outside of the normal range of what Bubble would do. So say, does it make sense for me to do this in within the normal life cycle of this, or is this going to be something where if I get 5,000 of MMR, monthly recurring revenue, or if I get 10,000 or 100,000 of monthly recurring revenue, then am I going to be able to do these things? Like, what can I provide that's going to start bringing in business value depending on my runway? If you have 100 to $300,000 of runway, I don't I don't see that you go too far with Bubble, other than to testing it out and testing out the concepts to verify that it's going to look like it's in a good direction. Why?
Mhm.
Because of the speed, the how fast you can get a Bubble project out there to see if it's making sense.
Mhm.
You can also do this with various other systems, but since we're talking about Bubble, and if you just incline to the way it is, that hands-on ability to have that hands-on control over it, you're okay with that $100 to $400 a month cost that's just going to go up, then it's cool. Your costs are going to go up anyways, if you're using AWS or something like that anyhow. Just with Bubble, kind of goes up a little bit faster than it would
Mhm.
AWS. But get that, that's not something you think about too much in the very beginning, because you're trying to validate your idea and get some money in as cheaply as
Mhm.
possible. But again, if you have that runway, right, maybe it's a different concept. If you have only $10,000 or $30,000 runway, then you have to
Mhm.
make sure you first of all preserve as much as your money going forward, and test out the concept to make sure you're reducing your risk.
Mhm. And one thing that comes to my mind is how well we can encrypt that data in a scenario where we have to host it and then using these API connectors to pull out the data. So how much secure can we actually go? So yeah, we would be less exposed to cyber threats.
Yeah, that's with Bubble, that would be a concern for me, just
Mm-hmm.
because it's on one platform and you don't have any way to have different platform redundancy. Now you can
Mm-hmm.
have fallback plans, which is a good idea, right? So maybe you have a fallback website set up, just on a system that you can expand fairly quickly. But again, these are things you start building as you start increasing your monthly revenue, and your risk goes
Mm-hmm.
up. If you're testing your idea out right away, and if you're not in a market where like crazy stuff is inclined to happen early on, then see what's the best path, what's the most direct path, rather than overcomplicating things. But yeah, looking into the future, is that going to be a problem for you? Are you in
Mm-hmm.
a competitive market where some of your competitors might kind of sabotage you? Just
Mm-hmm.
what's your backup plan if that happens? Have some fire drills ready. I remember when I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid, we used to do like those nuclear bomb fire drills, and I
Mm-hmm.
think like 3 years ago, when there was COVID, my kids did fire drills for somebody sneezed. So
Mm-hmm.
always have those fire drills for whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the
And
concern it
yeah,
is.
yes, that could actually help. And one thing that also I want us to discuss is basically to compete in the market. It's also very necessary to be competitive at pricing. So let's assume I have, and in today's world, it's not going to be that I have zero competitors. So if I build something on Bubble and I have to let's assume I have like a user base, and once it grows uh, as compared to like a custom application, what is the difference in terms of cost? So how much expensive Bubble is actually going to be? Because I think
Mhm.
in today's world, it can be like a deal breaker that if your products is very highly, it has like a very high cost as compared to your competitors, then they can get like a good share of your market because that people are very, they can just ask ChatGPT, they can Google stuff and they can find similar solutions, and before making a purchase, they would be definitely considering and comparing between different providers.
And that's a fun thing when you start growing your business. What's okay? I start with my core value. I get my MVP out there. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what can I do to start both marketing benefits on the fringe of my value set of my value proposition that's going to start bringing more people in? What then? Okay, once I've got some of that, or while I'm exhausting some of that, really, I'm wondering what's the cheapest things that I can add, and cheap meaning what's the highest return to capital. So I might have something that's going to cost me a couple $1,000s to add a feature to, that's going to bring me in like a 1% return, and
Mm-hmm.
pay itself over a year. Or I might have something that's $100,000 feature sets that's going to return itself within a week or two, right? So, and that kind of return makes sense at certain points. Once you've started proving income, once you start proving your concept and you have that monthly revenue, then you can start playing with some of these ideas. But I always warn against jumping too early into that kind of concepts.
Yeah. Uh, One thing is, before we move towards the demo, I think that would be like when we compare different competitors related to Bubble.io.
Mhm.
Uh, Microsoft also has like its own ecosystem, and you can build like a lot of stuff. And they are also promoting no to low code stuff. So, but what I see over there is you have to actually you have to bear a lot of licensing costs. So if I have to build an application, then I might have to get like 3 to 4 different licenses, and that is for every user I onboard. So my user cost can increase drastically. So if that is the case, then I might not be that much relevant. If my customer cannot afford me, it doesn't matter how much value I can create, they won't just use it because that is too expensive for them. But how like Bubble does, I think you have more flexibility, and
Mhm.
you can be competitive at pricing as well. And when you feel, as you were saying, that this is the right moment that we need to switch to, now we have that user base and now we have the right amount of funding to build something
Yep.
of our own. And with like the right once you are more confident on your idea and you have the right budget, you can get like a very good like a very good dev team to build that product. That is also something very important. If you have budget constraints, you might be compromising on quality when considering different dev teams. And if you
Mhm.
if you build a product and that product is not good enough, no matter how like world changing your idea was, it is not going to be successful.
Yeah, we just we played on two big topics right there. So
Hmm.
first of all, Azure, yeah, that's kind of like the bad part of them. If you're looking at using their shelf products, a lot of licensing issues, a lot of expense, but it just comes up with a lot of automatic reputation right away. So if the shoe fits, wear the Azure shoes. The the other thing is competition for Bubble right now is insane. I mean, I'm looking at Webflow, I'm looking at Dalio, I'm looking
Hmm.
at Flutterflow, I'm Softer,
Hmm.
Glide. There's a ton of just obvious no code solutions, but even
Hmm.
better than that, I'm really looking at some AI systems with the right developer behind it, that,
Hmm.
and because I say this as a developer, right? And I play with this, I can do things. If you sat down with me for like in one day, if you sat down with me for like 2 hours in one day, then I could probably build you a very close representation to what might
Hmm.
take you 2 weeks in Bubble to build, and
True.
maybe it might take you 4 months by yourself to build in Bubble.
Hmm.
And then to just kind of test out and say, hey, In
Mhm.
one day, we can say, hey, does it make sense to go this way? Or am
Mhm.
I not liking the way it's looking? Is it just kind of like not my nature? Then I can try bubble. I can try going to a fully custom solution. Um, and move on from there. The problem with this one day version of building your MVP essentially is that it comes also with a lot of tech debt overhead. That things are built just rapidly, and it's not worried about creating a beautiful system, not at least yet, a beautiful system that's like developers would love to see. But if
Mhm.
you're comparing to bubble, where you don't have any control and you really have no idea how it's building stuff as it's going along, you're just designing it and building it up, then it's a very tempting alternative right now. If you can afford a decent consultant to go through, sit with you, get your feedback, build some stuff for a couple hours, come back with you again come back to you again, show it off, go through it some more, and do that. The problem is you have to, with this concept, you have to have a pretty good understanding up front of what you're looking to do to get that first set of build really working well. And the funny
Mhm.
part is right now, it's a lot easier to build initial stuff than it is to build on top of things, right? So you can get
Mhm.
a MVP out 10 times faster than you ever could up front, but
Mhm.
to refine it is very difficult
Mhm.
with any of these systems. uh the difference is bubble io, you kind of see what it is as you're building. You don't care how perfect it is. You don't really care about the code. It's that's out of your head for the most part. And what you're just doing is building up the functionality, the value proposition. So it's there's a lot of competition to bubble, but let's get back to bubble.
Mhm. Yeah, and I would be switching to like a demo that we can do. It would be more of like a walkthrough. So where we
Mhm.
would be exploring bubble and also exploring its features and stuff. While I do this switch, I have a question for you, which it had been in my mind since long, and I see that happening like a lot often. Is basically I think these tools what they have done is made it a lot easier for people to get trained. Let's say you are not technical and I join a community which where there are like tutorials, where there are mentors who can help me build stuff through like bubble or any of their
Mhm.
competitors. And with this like no code or like low code approach, I can learn quick and I can actually build something of my own. And I see like a lot of content being created and a lot of communities as well.
Yeah. Okay, that's a fun point. If you're a hands-on um stakeholder, CEO, and you really want to get in there and you feel more like a CTO than CEO, then you can benefit from having a system like this where it's easy for you to get over the learning curve and you can kind of grow with it so that, you know, by the third month or fourth month or eighth month of having the system built up, you can just get in there comfortably yourself and start changing things up, start testing things, start modifying things without having to try to communicate that to developers. That's a big benefit. um, I think we're going to get some of these benefits here in the near future anyways, just because of the way AI is starting to build into systems and working, communicate with them. Another alternative, which isn't really an alternative, but if this is your challenge and you're not loving Builder, Bubble because of the limitations, there's a lot of systems where you can take Figma and go and start building it up from there. So that's kind of a fun way to look at it. These communities, that's a big deal for any of these systems to have those somebody to actually share ideas with, also to have people that have experience and has an engaged community and having fun. One thing that we didn't mention is that Bubble has a bunch of public templates that you can have for free or you can buy. and you can build off of those and get also a speed up and a jump into the market you want to try to get into. So if you think the market's big enough in your area and you're looking to set up something locally, it's a great way to jump in there and to get some quick wins also. So that's a huge benefit for Bubble. Now they're also looking at building up their AI presence themselves, of course. So they have an AI app generator. Don't know how good it is. It's kind of a public beta right now. They have AI plugin ecosystem, just like other stuff you can tie in there and do pretty well with. And they also have this constant evolution towards making their APIs via their connector system more powerful, which is a lot of fun, for the developers. And you can learn how to jump in there too. And Daniel, did I bring you
Yes,
in too
thank
early?
you for. No, no, I'm ready, and I was actually listening how you were uh, talking about stuff related to Bubble. So I would be quickly starting to share my screen so we can actually talk more about Bubble while we can see it too.
Okay, cool. So some of the use cases that may make sense, like there's the prompt based app creation where you can write a description. Bubble generates like the starter app templates fairly quickly. The I'm looking forward to when you can find where you can go in there and have it kind of find some public existing uh templates that you can kind of say compare with and kind of pull stuff together and play with. I think this will start to come together, but I don't think it's there now. And of course, you have AI chatbots you can plug in. There's a lot of smart automations and workflows they're starting to integrate with, and um, and of course, just like any other system, sometimes if they have these workflows that are pre-built where you could tie into your favorite service or system, then it's an automatic easy win.
Yeah, and can you see my screen?
Let me add your screen to the stage.
Yeah.
Nice. Ooh, I'm going to go to this view. I like to know what
Yeah.
people think
So
about
what
this
we
view.
have, I think it looks good and it gives maximum visibility to the screen.
I'm hoping.
So what do we have over here is like the bubble.io dashboard. And what do we have over here at like first glance? We have some of you will be able to see some of the projects that you build over here, and then you can you have like a kind of tutorials and stuff that they offer related to learning. Content to know more about Bubble and how it could be useful. And
Yep.
then we on the panel that we have some options, and that is like build guides. It's asking me to refresh. Let me refresh the page.
Yep. And you probably saw there the create with AI. They have some drop down options in there for you to play with.
Yeah. Mhm.
Who doesn't love creating things with AI?
Yeah, the play. Mhm. And we would be actually testing this in a moment too. That how you can actually create with the AI and what kind of thing it creates using just like a prompt and stuff. So as I was navigating through this menu, you have some build guides where you can describe your idea and it can help you map out the features you will need to build. So I think that could help, that could add like a lot of value how you are envisioning your system, and it could be it's something that can help you understand the scope of your application, and it could actually also help you explore stuff that you might not have considered. Then we have like simple templates. search or you can buy them. Then you have plugins which you can create a plugin to. So let's quickly move towards project and let's try creating a web app. Let's start with basic feature.
So one of the things to do when you're looking at this is don't start with the wireframing in mind. First of all, start with what the user journey is going to be and write that out in detail. So when you take it and you read it out loud, it sounds right and it has a smooth transitions and actually provides that value that you're looking for. Very easy to get jump right into this and start designing and having fun, and 2 months later you've realized that you don't have things that are tied together well, and you feel like you've wasted a lot of effort. You've had a lot of fun, it was a great time, lots of pizza and beer maybe, but not a product that you can get out in the market. So start with that user journeys in the beginning so that you can go back and um, build a consistent user experience throughout the process. Start where it makes sense to uh, get them signed up, to how you're going to teach them about the system, how depend on how complex or how intuitive it is, at least to other people, right? Something that seems natural to us can sometimes be very confusing to everybody else. I have a wife, she lets me know this a lot. So don't make assumptions, just test it out and see what you can do. um the next thing, once you have that, take a look and kind of draw out the system and see how it draws just a workflow. First of all, first is sign up. Second is get the payment information. After that is go in and um, provide some value. Maybe then you collect their email, collect a payment, so on and so on. How does it make sense? Once you have that workflow worked out, now you can start saying, okay, cool, I need this systems. So I need to get these API keys from this provider. I need some open AI keys. I need to go and make some services available and have that outlined. I need to use this mailing system. I expect to have one customer per 100 users or 100,000 users, whatever it is. And then once you have that concept kind of worked out a little bit, look at the cost of those systems to make sure that what you're charging, best case, is going to make sense. And this is going to help you make sure that you're designing a system up front that is going to get you value and not lose you money. I've a few times had customers where we did the whole project and then they say, wow, I see this costs are going to be super high. And I come back and I'm like, yeah, we talked about this and we did a little bit of the math, but then it made sense. Now they're like, well, now it doesn't make sense. So try to spend a little bit of time on this to see if you're likely to be profitable in the first place. And Daniel's back. Looks like he had a connection.
Yeah. So can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. So what I was doing, and there was like a connection issue due to which I was removed from the stream. So what I did was just quickly using that create with AI. I just shared this app idea where create a responsive web app using bubble.io where users can browse available services from time slots, appointments, rental listings, select a date or time and book a slot, and availability should be filtered based on what's already booked. Create an account or login as a user. Proceed to payment using Stripe checkout after successful payment. Store, store the booking details in the database and mark that slot as unavailable. send confirmation emails to the user and admin, include an admin dashboard where the owner can view all bookings manually, do some edits, cancellations, and view payment statuses. So just by giving, and you can, uh, there's also a feature using AI. You can actually, with ChatGPT and stuff, be you can reason about your idea, create a very good prompt that is suitable for all these tools, and you can give them this prompt, and that they can actually be, it will help, a very good prompt will help them understand your idea, where in like a much better way. The better the prompt is, the better the tool is going to perform. So based on that, what it has given me the key features, like that are going to be basically part of my application, like service and slot browser, user authentication, booking system, stripe payment integrations, email confirmations, and like an admin dashboard. So Phil, what are your thoughts? How does it look like to you?
uh the Salt Master, kind of a fun start. The I think you made something, a fun point in there I didn't mention before. You can, now that we have AI systems, we can use different systems to bounce our ideas back and forth. And I do this a lot. So maybe I'll use the best model on OpenAI for generating ideas and have it critique it. Then I'll have it take that whole plan in the whole documents, and I'll go over to Claude, and I'll have it go through there and critique it and enhance the plan a little bit more. Then maybe I'll go over to Grok, especially with Grok 4 out nowadays. Then I might go in there and have it refined there. I'm going to have to do some research and to try to validate my idea and to set up the best prompt to build the thing in a way that's going to make sense and get me off on a good start. Because the best start you get, the better start you get, the less time you're going to spend on iterating on things and trying to improve it. If you go the opposite way and don't plan it well, you're going to spend a lot of time starting back over because things aren't connected well. Uh, the AI is making a lot of assumptions. It's too general. It's not going to feel like a customized product. It's going to perhaps feel like it's not really connecting with your target audience or solving the problem the way you want it to. So working with multiple systems and validating that is a pro tip for getting the best results as fast as possible. And that's important because with Bubble, there is a transaction cost and amount of resources you can use before it's taking you to the next level. So if you're not having a good customer experience and people are bouncing around and things
Mhm,
aren't smooth, you're going to be using a lot more resources than you would anyways. And it's a bad user experience. So days we
mhm,
can critique a lot of this. And then once you do that, you've had a chance to role play and play some devil's advocate. You can bring it to your friends with a lot more confidence than you would otherwise.
mhm, mhm. And that is something which we were discussing before while Bubbles creates this application for us. Uh, this is something we were talking about earlier as well, that the costs are going to be, whenever you're doing business, and you were also mentioning about getting your, books, right? So also considering the amount that it's going to cost you not only to create it but also to run it, and what kind of things can actually help you better optimize it, that you don't have a lot, you can say, uh, as you were saying, that as more people would be bouncing on it, so I would be, as like a business owner, like an entrepreneur, I would be incurring more, like more costs towards this.
Yeah, and anything you can do to give you an advantage fresh out the door is going to be huge. You want to maximize your velocity.
Hmm. Hmm.
And she's taken a few minutes to build.
So it's
It
Yeah, it
says
takes
5 to
around,
7
I
minutes.
think,
It could be
around
more.
10 minutes to break.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think we gave it like a very badass prompt.
Right, right. You're ready to rock. I love it. I love it. The hmm, what's I want to talk about some other cases while this is loading, just to have some fun. And I kind of talked about a few companies that were out there, but it's just to give you guys some more ideas, right? So like Circle Home is one, and they do a home swapping marketplace, which is like a share your home or swap vacations. Kind of like think like timeshare swapping, perhaps.
Mhm,
And they earned 120,000 pounds pre-seed with users with over across 10 countries pre-seed. Good job, guys. This is a lot of fun. So here's an idea for you. Good course. They do micro learning platform where they're offering TikTok style training for uh, DI and safety. And this was a Y Combinator project that's raised about 1 million. And of course, this is California, right? So it's kind of in that place,
mhm,
that good place to do it. So yes, these products competitive even in our beloved um, software capital. Uh, Flex Pipple, Flexipile,
mhm,
Flexipli, Flexiple, Flexiply. And whether they're a free they're a freelancer marketplace for developers and designers. So if you're not in love with perhaps Upwork, go check them out. If you don't love them, make your own platform for developers or for a local market. Right, there's a lot of markets where you can go in
mhm,
there and make this platform locally and get a lot of traction. So especially if you're familiar with real estate or
mhm,
development, construction and so on, this is a nice quick way to jump into it. It's a little bit more of a technical system, but if you're on the more technical side, you have some fun. If you're on the less side, get with somebody to help you build that up and have some fun with it. um Cure, right? Personalized support
mhm,
supplement subscription based off of the user's health data. um Kind of, if you're in that health industry and you're familiar with it, could be a lot of fun. They raised 10 million. I think I mentioned about this one and just impressed with their 100,000 plus monthly recurring revenue. Good job, guys. And it looks like the build is done. Is it? I don't see the screen. Zoom in on there. Make it easier for us to see. Oh, there it is.
mhm. Yeah, what we have over here is like the editor. Let me zoom a bit more. So you, so what we have over here is like the editor, where we can see the stuff that it has created, and you can see like a search bar. You have like the option to book. You have all those service categories, available dates, so you can search for services. It has also created some cards for like the available stuff, and you have different tabs like book, browse. You can where you can browse more services. You can book in your my dashboard. You can see stuff like that is related to the services which you have booked, and then is like an admin and like a payment status option. If you see towards my on the left where we have this uh, panel, like the for like where we have like a UI builder over here where we can
This is where
create
you
the
go and you
layers and
start
stuff, and we can,
customizing, building new components, uh,
yeah.
building it up,
Mhm,
making it play with the text. This is where you kind of customize it, where you can add in components and stuff that just show the value of your business and what makes you guys special.
mhm,
And it's so easy. Look how this initial layout came. This is all from a prompt, and it took that basic idea which with a great prompt, get it filled in a lot of copy for you. Copy is so hard to do, takes a lot of time. Now when you have this base, you just go in there, you say, okay, I like the way this sounds, I don't. If you play with a little bit, go back and forth with your favorite chat system, your favorite AI, tweak it some, make sure that you're pointing out, at the top page what your value proposition is, and continue from there. Start work, and once you have this done, you can go into your workflows and start building those up, connecting to different systems, and making sure. Oh no, we lost your screen, Daniel.
Yeah, what I was saying is talking
Okay, I don't know if Daniel's having a
each,
problem with his connection.
like, and we like we were doing like a quick demo, like a quick walkthrough of the stuff. So just to wind it up, I actually ended that screen share.
Oh, okay. All right. We're trying to keep this quick for you guys. If you so you got this base, then what you do is you go in, you modify that some. Don't spend too much time in there, because the next thing you want to focus on is the workflow, right? And workflow is what Bubble calls uh, every step. So each step in there is a workflow. So you fill out a form. The next one is you get an email. You go to a thank you page. You go to whatever the next step is. Maybe you tie into your email systems and so on. So you start working through those steps. And I'm wondering if Daniel's having connection problems at the worst time. This is where I need them. Okay. So once you get those done, then uh before you while you can publish it, you can make it go live. There's, depending on the system you have, you can kind of see where the subscription level, you can kind of see like what the benefits, the split testing, the different solutions and connections they have. And so you can build up from there. So hopefully Daniel comes back and gets to say goodbye to everybody. And he's back. He went out on stage so he can jump in as soon as he can. Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about the interruption. My connection is having some sort of issues after we just when we started to doing like a walkthrough of the bubble. So I'll
Uh,
be keeping it short. Uh, so yeah.
no problem. Thanks for showing us and walking us through. The the bottom line is,
Mhm.
if you follow the system that Bubble gives you, it makes it easy for you to build it up, to evolve it, and to even have fun with it. And if you're a hands-on entrepreneur and you want to do it yourself, right? At least get it started yourself. Easy way to jump into it. If you like the visual way that it builds things up, then it's great, because you can see things and build them visually, and you can really be part of the system. Where with the coded solutions, you have to communicate better, you have to have a team that understands you more, you generally have to have a bigger team. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to that, but it really depends on where your strengths are as a leader, building the system that you have and the comfort you have with your team. Now you can even kind of go the next step and say, hey, I'm going to have a professional team use build Bubble, because I just like the way it is. I just love the comfort it gives me, and the workflow is very natural, and I understand a lot, and I can kind of direct things better. I'm not saying saying that you can micromanage people, but you can certainly get your hands dirty without having to be very technical, which for a lot of people is a big deal. And I see Daniel's going to have some connections. So what I'm going to say, guys, thank you for joining. Hope this episode was fun. Drop comments down below. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think. Is Builder.io the way to go? Is Builder, is Bubble, is Webflow, right? Where would you guys see it using these systems? Which one is the best? Which one is the king of the hill? Should we use those fully AI systems like Claude Code, or Codex from OpenAI? What are you guys' thoughts? Looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And Daniel, any last words? I was just saying goodbye to everybody.
Yes, it was a fun session and where we explored different aspects related to Bubble IO, and we would be also doing some competitors overview in our next sessions. I am really excited uh, how capable Replit is, that is being marketed a lot these days. So Replit
Mhm.
is, and it can help you build like good mobile. It is marketed in a way that it can build you like good mobile apps which are cross platforms. So we would be doing like an overview and talking more or going more into what it offers. And something very exciting which is coming ahead is we would be actually doing a session about voice AI agents, how you can build it, and how you can use different platforms like N8N, or even you can use Zapier to create stuff quickly. And
Yeah.
these agents can do like a lot of stuff like book appointment, takes calls, customer support. And we would be actually showcasing our own voice agent in that call too, that how we built it and how much it is like capable of doing stuff. And how how what kind of value it creates for different businesses.
Bravo. Thank you for joining us, Daniel. I appreciate you so much. Guys, everybody, thank you for
Thank you
coming.
so
It was great
much.